I am. Hello and welcome to today's workshop. This is a subject that I am so eager to learn more about. We are going to be exploring chakras, clearing our clutter, learning about the combination between the two. And this is a topic that I have a feeling has many, many layers to it and so much potential. And so, DeAnne, welcome. I'm thrilled that you're here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Heather, for having me.
Yeah, I'm just really looking forward to this. And I also want to say thank you to Fran. Fran is one of our Living Lighter members, and she's the one that connected the two of us. And Fran has been a fan of DeAnne's for a while and said the two of you absolutely need to meet. And so let me tell you a little bit about DeAnne, okay? DeAnne Gauya has a fantastic and very rich history of weaving together ancient wisdom traditions and modern advances in mind body medicine and neuroscience in her work. She has a 35 plus year career as a holistic fitness coach, a stress reduction expert, a yoga teacher, and a therapeutic body worker and healer. DeAnne, you're somebody who just likes to keep on learning, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's not going to stop.
Exactly. Well, that's one of the greatest gifts, right? It doesn't have to stop. We get to keep on learning. And so DeAnne is going to be walking us through the connection between chakras and clutter, how learning to drop out of your busy mind, who has a busy mind here, right? We all do. Dropping out of the busy mind and into our body can make decision making fun. And that is what decluttering is. It's making one decision after another. And then some simple practices for tuning up and promoting energetic flow in our chakra system. And so that's going to make decluttering feel so much easier. And so, DeAnne, thank you again. I'm so glad that you're here.
So thank you. Thank you. So I thought I would start like I usually start most of my training sessions with a little experiential, very short experiential exercise. So I invite you to just take your seat as best you can. If you can put your feet on the floor, great. If that's not possible, that's fine too. But just close your eyes or gaze downward. And I want you to just pay attention to the flow of the breath in and out through your nose. So just take a long breath in and think of creating length and space in your spine as if you had maybe a thread or a cord attached to the crown of your head, gently drawing you upward. And then I want you to visualize again cords, imaginary cords coming from your sits bones and the base of your spine, rooting you into the earth solidly. So breathing in, thinking of length and space in the spine and becoming aware of your connection through the crown of your head with your highest potential, with God, the divine, source, again, whatever resonates with you, but this idea of something much greater and beyond you, but then also on the exhalation, rooting yourself into the earth through the imaginary cords that do connect you with the earth and bring you into this physical body and plane that we're in. So just becoming present and knowing that the present moment is your place of power always, and that when you simply take this posture of an upright spine with the imaginary cord attached to the crown of your head being lifted upward, you immediately stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is our internal system that down regulates the fight or flight response, that down regulates the stress response, and immediately elicits the relaxation response, the rest and digest response, and all of the neurochemicals that are associated with that. So things like dopamine and serotonin and norepinephrine and oxytocin, all these really feel-good chemicals begin to bathe every cell of your body when you downregulate your nervous system. So I'm going to then sound the singing bowl 3 times, and you can just allow this sound vibration to penetrate every cell in your body. So then you can open your eyes and join me. And I start that way because it's a simple practice that you can access literally any time that you start to feel like overwhelmed. Say you open a closet full of clutter, or you encounter a person who is triggering for you, like a narcissistic parent, or you have a health concern that you're dealing with. Really, the best way to deal with anything in the present moment is to first ground yourself using a simple practice like paying attention to the breath, because no matter where you are, if you're alive, right, you can always breathe in and breathe out, and your inhalation and exhalation always take place in the present moment. There's never any other moment than that, and that is your place where then you can consciously choose how you are going to be in the moment. And so this relates to the chakras. Initially, when I did that exercise, for me, the first chakra is the root chakra, and that's the chakra at the base of our spine. So when we connected ourselves into the earth through those imaginary cords from our sits bones and the base of our spine, we immediately tapped into that root chakra, the earth-bound chakra. And then when we connected with the imaginary cord coming from the crown of our head, gently lifting us upward, we immediately connected ourselves with our 7th chakra, which is the crown chakra. And that chakra is all about our highest potential, our highest kind of evolution, our greatest self, our lightest self. You know, as you move up the chakras, you really, in my mind, begin to declutter as you move up the chakra system, because the first chakra, the earthbound chakra, is all about safety and security. And it's all about the ability to have things. It's about money. It's about all of these things which we are trained to believe that we need in order to be accepted in our communities, be accepted in our tribe, to feel safe. And these things, which eventually, you know, as we get older, we can begin to accumulate a lot of things, and maybe some of the things aren't our things. They could be inherited things from family members that are passed down. But I find that as we age, a lot of times, particularly from, say, the age of like 30 to 40 or 50, we seem to accumulate just a lot of stuff. And it's really all about safety and security, and feeling that you need to attach to things in order to have your worth. So it's almost like self-worth and physical possessions and money and all of that determine your worth. So if you can really think about kind of when you're looking at things in your life, you can say to yourself, you know, are these things which I truly need, or are they not things I truly need? And with the chakra system, so we start kind of with the foundation of safety, security, worth, money, all these very earthbound things. And then we start to move upward. And as we move upward into the second chakra, and then the third, which is our power center, also our gut. So if you place your hands here, your gut is a very powerful information system for you. And so is your heart chakra, which is here. And then we move into the throat, and then the third eye chakra, which really connects us. If you go deep in the brain, it connects us with our mammalian brain, which this is where most of us, whether we realize it or not, are acting from. We're not usually in our prefrontal cortex, our more evolved brain, but we are in this place where we're either in our reptilian brain, which is the very old part of our brain, which is very connected with the fight or flight response, with safety, security, and this old part of our brain is directly rooted into our first chakra. Again, safety, security, very hardwired in us. And then when we move up into the more mammalian parts of our brain, we move up into more of the gut. So there's the brain-gut axis that maybe some people are familiar with, polyvagal theory, which has gained a lot of popularity recently. So it's not just where you have the fight or flight response or the relaxation response, but you actually have two levels of the relaxation response, and one is the rest and digest. The other takes you kind of beyond fight or flight into freeze or fawn, which is like the deer in the headlights, where you feel like you're just stunned, paralyzed, and that is not a place to make good decisions from. Really, the place to make good decisions is from the rest and digest portion of the nervous system. And this is how the chakras kind of come together when we think about how we can self-regulate our bodies and our response system. It's by stopping, like I had us do in the beginning, where we stop and drop and pull our awareness into the present moment. We down-regulate our nervous system. And then when we do that, we can open our eyes and then respond in ways that are more aligned. The other aspect of the chakras, if I kind of pull them all together, this is such a rich system. So if I pull them all together, the belief is that each chakra is like a sphere of energy, and it controls various emotional patterns, physical patterns in the body, and responds to vibration. Anyway, so we start at the first and then work up to the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and then they even believe they're like eighth and ninth that go on and on. But if the chakras are all lined up and each one is open and the energy is flowing freely, and it's hard to maybe envision, but you have to kind of think 3D or holographically. So these systems are pulsating up and down, in and out within themselves, but then within each chakra, the chakras actually line up. So I have this picture, I don't know if you can see this, but this is kind of a picture of the chakra system with all of the colors and lined up. So the idea is when they're all lined up and when they're all pulsating and healthy, then and aligned, then you have this kind of direct connection with your what's called your full body yes. So if you were to be kind of looking at clutter, say, you would, if everything is lined up and resonating, you could pick something up and look at it and immediately get this kind of really gut response in your body, like, yes, this is something I should keep. This is something which resonates with me and for my highest good, or no, it's not. And sometimes, certain things can maybe be very obvious. So for instance, I was going to try to do a little example to be practical with people. So for instance, I have a singing bowl collection. So I have this singing bowl, and I have this singing bowl, and I have this one, which is Tibetan, and I have this little one, and then I have some what they call Singshas, which are from Tibetan Buddhism. So if I were decluttering my singing bowl collection, right, and someone said to me, DeAnne, you can only have one singing bowl. The rest of your singing bowls you need to give to people, clients, people who would really benefit from them who don't have singing bowls. You need to give the rest away. So how would I decide to do that? So I would align myself, I would ground myself, I would breathe and become totally present. And then I would probably take each singing bowl, because this is vibration, and it reminded me a little bit of Geraldine's session from last month with the crystal bowls, right? And the vibration, she talked about how everything is vibration and certain things really resonate within our system and can promote our healing and our alignment, and very powerful. And so to me, something like a singing bowl can be a very easy way to just kind of tap into your inner wisdom, your inner guidance system, and really just know, does this vibration resonate with me in a way that's totally aligned or not? And that could be an easy way to make a decision. So we could all listen to this, and maybe you could choose the singing bowl that you would keep, and I will do it for myself. And with a singing bowl, it might help to close your eyes, so you can, when you close one sensory organ down, then it kind of amplifies the acuity of other ones. So if I close my eyes, my ears are going to be a little more attuned to the sound. So I'll take this one. And then I'll take this one. And then I'll take this one. And finally, my little one. And then I'll take my Singhas, and they just. So based on what I just did, for me, I'd like to hear what you guys chose. So for me, doing this right in the here and now, if I had to choose just one singing bowl to keep with me, it would be this one. For me, it's very grounding, it's very grounding, it's very resonant. And so this is what I would keep. So anyway, did you find that interesting?
Yeah, that was so interesting. And everybody, it's interesting that the different bowls resonate differently with people. And so, some like the little one or the first one or number two. A lot of people like the first one, but there's a few for the second and the others. Um, yeah. So it varies a little.
Yeah, cool. So I just, that for me was a practical thing that I could share that I had, but I also went through knowing that I was going to be doing this workshop with Heather, and it's all about the School of Living Lighter, and it's lighter as far as the body and your environment and everything else. And some of it has to do with decluttering and decluttering in the chakras. So again, I know very well how to connect with the chakras and open those up. But then when it comes to applying that to decision making and clutter, I thought, okay, how do I really go inward? And so what
What was the
was
note on the first bowl?
Oh, good
Great
question.
question.
I think I might have to ask Geraldine because I don't know the notes. I was trying to, I think this is close to a middle C. I was trying to figure it out yesterday, but I don't know what notes they are
Okay.
because I use them not to do sound healing. I use them really to open up my classes, my yoga classes, my meditation classes, and then sometimes I'll play the singing bowl so you strike it and then you play it so the vibration just spreads, but I don't do sound healing. But that's a wonderful question, and maybe I'll have to reach out to Geraldine and find out.
And actually, DeAnne has mentioned Geraldine's name, and so I just wanted to say for those of you who are not familiar, Geraldine Glass did lead the workshop for us last month, and so if you are in Living Lighter, the recording is on your portal. It's still available, always will be. And yeah, that was another lovely workshop, and so just wanted to give a little context.
Yeah. So I'll just finish up with again, trying to apply this to clutter. So I have, maybe a lot of you do too, I have a lot of vases. Somehow I have this huge collection and I have large ones, small ones, really small ones. Some of them are just, they came when somebody gave me flowers for my birthday or Valentine's Day, and they're just, the kind of clear vases and different whatever. And then others of them have been passed down to me from relatives. Others of them I've collected, throughout my life and my journeys. And again, I kind of just like the singing bowls, I took out all my vases and I put them on a table. And I'm like, okay, if I had to only keep a couple of these, say takes two or three, because I had like I think almost 20, a lot to declutter. I was like, which ones would I keep? So what I noticed initially, again, I dropped in to my kind of inner guidance system. I got quiet. I got very, very present. And then it became immediately clear to me that certain choices were just super obvious. So the ones that came like from FTD or the Flora Center, that whatever, just the random ones, it was very easy to say, okay, I would definitely rehome those or whatever. And then there were a couple which I looked, I'm like, well, I got this for myself and I really liked it, but it really isn't anything special. It's not like worth a lot of money, or it doesn't have lots of sentimental value, but I do like it. So it does resonate with me, obviously, because I chose it, and a lot of time I look at it and I'm like, I still like it very much. It brings me joy. And then there were other ones in the category of I feel obligated to keep these because they're family heirlooms, or someone very special, somebody very meaningful to me. My godmother was one, and my mother was another, that these vases were either gifts from them or possessions of them, of theirs. And so I have this huge emotional attachment with them. And so that's a very heart kind of center, kind of a third and fourth chakra connection, as well as first, really, family and all of that. But for me, it was more the heart and exploring that relationship between the emotional attachment and what that means. And so again, it's going inward and exploring the chakras, really kind of asking yourselves the questions. I have trouble reading the chat, so I can't read the chat and
That's
talk at the
okay.
same.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I'll share the questions with you,
Okay.
dear. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just finish the sentence and you can share what you need to. But it's just a very interesting exploration because, again, related to the first chakra and foundation and family and all of that, you know, having an object that belonged to somebody doesn't bring that person back, right? I mean, you have the memories, you have whatever, but somehow I think we kind of blend an object with a person in their existence. And yeah, I'm not saying what's right or wrong. I just think it's a very interesting question to explore. And, you know, the more you kind of know yourself and you can trust your inner guidance system, the better it is easier it is to make the decisions. And related to the chakras, I think I mentioned it, but if I didn't, one thing is like what it's called the full body yes. And so the full body yes is when you are aligned, you go inward, and you kind of just tap into your inner wisdom, your gut, really. It's not your brain at all. So it's not thinking, just gut reaction. And you look at something, a lot of times your gut will just tell you immediately, like it's a yes or a no. And optimally, what you're looking for is this full body yes, where you just look at it, you think about, and you're like, absolutely no question in my mind, no doubt in my body. It's just like, yes, just yes, yes, yes. And looking for that full body yes can help you.
Okay. Can you take a moment and actually explain what exactly is a chakra? So we know we've got a number of them in our body and they're energy centers, but what does that really mean?
So let's see how they came from Ayurveda, which is kind of the Indian medical system. And in that system, it's kind of different than Western medicine. The chakra system came about way before Western medicine. So it very much related to yoga. So again, it was kind of, I'm trying to, a nondescript energetic system and centers that they believed were the key to health and vitality. What's interesting is way after the chakras were developed and all of that in Western neuroscience, they found that number one, the chakras correspond perfectly with the central nervous system, which the central nervous system runs up and down our spine, starts in our brain and ends in the base of our spine. And the central nervous system controls everything in our bodies. One, and then two, that where the chakras are located in the body are these centers like nerve plexes, where lots of nerves come together in bundles and clusters. Whether they're actual circles, I'm not quite sure. I mean, they always kind of depict the chakras as kind of circular energy centers. They might not be quite like that, but they are energetic centers that do correspond with the central nervous system and major nerve plexes in the body. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, that's really helpful. Really helpful. Thank you. Yeah, so go ahead and here's another question for you. Can you share about how when tightly gripping the singing bowl, how that doesn't allow for vibration or letting go if that's relevant?
Of course. Of course. Was that a question?
Yeah, yep.
Somebody asked, so I think it's so interesting because I was going to go there, and that's someplace I go very frequently with people to give you a really solid idea of energetically what happens in your body, which is the exact same. So anyway, so I'm going to demo that. And then I'm going to take us through a couple more like alignment and chakra things. So our body is just like a singing bowl. If I'm gripping really tightly, so again, when you're in that fight or flight response, when you're in the stress response, not the relaxation response, right? Things are very tight and you're reactive like the bowl, and I strike it, like literally, there's nothing, right? You hear it knock, right? But if I loosen my hand, right, so now I'm holding it lightly and I open it, now, I mean, that's the exact same striker, the exact same bowl, but if I hold it loosely and allow the cells to vibrate and communicate with each other and pulse, then it's that. But if I grip, there's nothing. And every cell in our body is just like this singing bowl, and every cell in our body then makes up the organs in our body and makes up all the tissue. So if you can just kind of picture from the inside out, or the outside in, the more you're holding and tense and gripping, the less energetic flow there's going to be, the less that nutrients can flow in and out of the cells in your body. And again, related to the fight or flight response, that's why in the gut brain axis, this is why so many people who get overstressed develop issues with their digestive systems. They develop things like irritable bowel syndrome and colitis and acid reflux, various things, but it's all because there's just too much, the gripping and the tension is creating a lack of flow of energy and flow of nutrients.
Ian, I love how these words that you're using right now, because you all think about it. When we're in the act of letting go, are we holding on super, super tight? Can we allow some flow, some space, some breath? Can we loosen our grip? I think this is a perfect analogy. DeAnne, can we do some more education on the chakras, and go through the names and a high level background and organ association with them, so that we've got a little bit more understanding on the specific chakras as well?
Let's see. That's really in depth, like especially the organ connection. I think it's too much for me to go into. I mean, I could share some resources because every single chakra has multiple organs that it's associated with. What was the other question? I can give you like
Right. Or yeah, if you just, yep, go ahead and start with the is it the root chakra? I always forget which one is the bottom one. And then yeah, the name and just a little bit more background on each one.
Yeah, so I can give you the names, and then I can really, what's more important, so I'm not going to do the Sanskrit names, which they all have Sanskrit names, and that's how it's was formulated. But more importantly, I'm going to give you the Bij mantras. So the Bij mantras are a sound. It's a sound vibration that is associated with each chakra that will go through, and you can say, and as you say it, you can let it resonate and penetrate. And when you say each of the Bij mantras, the vibration, the sound that corresponds with the chakras, then you help to energize and open each chakra up. But so to go back to the chakras, if I have my little thing here, so we have the root chakra at the base of the spine, and the element associated with it is earth. And then we have the second chakra, which is at kind of the pelvis, and that chakra is associated with creativity and procreation, and the element of that chakra is water. Then the third chakra at the belly, the color is yellow, and that's our power center, our solar plexus, our ability to act in the world, express our volition. It's all about empowerment, self-empowerment. And then the fourth chakra is at the heart, and the color is green, and that's all about the ability to give and receive love, which is also a direct reflection of self-love and self-compassion. And then we move up to the throat chakra, which is right here at the throat. The color is blue, and that's our ability to communicate clearly and speak our truth and speak in ways that are aligned with our inner guidance system. And then we have the third eye chakra, the brow chakra here, and that is again related to intuition, and we start to move into our connection with spirit or our higher power, the divine. And then we move up to the crown chakra, which is at the crown of the head, and that is our connection with the divine. And again, as you move up, the elements become less and less solid. So the first chakra is earth, and we go to water, and then it's fire, and then air, and then ether, and then it just goes beyond ether. So you're going from very solid and tight to less and less. So related to the vibrations with each of the chakras, and I know with Zoom we can't all do this because it'll be funny, but I'll just share with you. You can just listen to me and see and let the sound kind of reverberate in your mind if you close your eyes. So we'll start with the first chakra, and I'm just going to breathe in, and then I'm going to breathe out and say the Bij mantra for each chakra once, and then we'll work our way up. So we start at the base. We inhale, and the sound of the first chakra is Lam, Lam. So we inhale, and we say Lam. And the seed sound for the second chakra is Vam, V-A-M. So we inhale, Vam. And then we work up to the third chakra. The sound is Ram. So we inhale, Ram. The fourth chakra, the heart, is Yam. So we inhale, Yam. The throat chakra is Hum, H-A-M. Inhaling, Hum. The sixth chakra is Sham, so we can inhale, Sham. And then the seed sound for the crown chakra is Om, O-M, so we inhale, Om. And then you would ideally move into a few minutes of meditation, mindfulness, or mantra anchored meditation. But again, that's a simple way to just really tap in and use the power of sound and vibration. And these Bij mantras, again, come from Ayurveda and Vedic sciences. So this is like 3,000-4,000 plus years old, this system and these sounds that correspond with those. The last practice I thought I would share with you is something called the bumblebee breath. And this bumblebee breath is, again, something very simple that you can use anytime you start to feel overwhelmed, and it downregulates your nervous system as well as really stimulates your brow chakra. And so basically it's very simple. You can just take your index fingers or whatever fingers work for you. So this closes off your ears. You breathe in, and then you're going to hum like a little bee. So you and then you see how you feel. So again, thinking of Geraldine's talk last time, she talked about the value of humming, and the humming is, so this was similar to the humming, the bee breath, also the Bij mantras, they all end in this AM sound, right? Om sound, very, very grounding and humming. Also, what's wonderful about that bee breath is you breathe in, and then it's an extended exhalation. And again, a way that you can always like just down regulate your sympathetic nervous system is to breathe in and then breathe out for as long as you can, whether it's with the hum, whether it's the bee breath, or other people, you could, like if you like to sigh, just breathing in and then just exhaling, ah. right? Inhaling and then exhale, just something that again loosens the grip of your on your bowl, right? So when you open and you soften and you surrender, you release, you create this space and flow, and it can just be a very powerful way of tuning in and going within and kind of getting in touch with that inner guidance system and that system that is aligned with your highest self. Oh,
Oh,
I know the last thing I was going to share. Sorry, one more thing.
you're good.
The
You're
other
good.
thing can be super power. Just to, somebody mentioned Reiki, I think in the beginning, and Reiki works with the chakras. There are many, many systems of healing that involve the chakra system. And so simple ways of self-healing and expressing self-compassion and love can be having your left hand on your heart. You do want to put your left hand because that's the feminine, the water side, the yin side, the mother in us, right? And then we have our right hand on our belly, which is our power center, which is our third chakra, our solar plexus. And so the right hand is the masculine doer yang side. And so as we're breathing in and breathing out, we can just intentionally send strength and energy to these systems within ourselves, bringing in everything which is going to nurture us and be for our highest good, breathing out all which we don't need any longer. And again, thinking of clutter, again, just releasing, letting go of what no longer serves us, what isn't in alignment, so we can just breathe in and breathe out and kind of send ourselves some love and compassion as well as strength. We all need strength and volition and tapping into our gut. So those can be simple ways to help you to align. And then the last thing is with the hands, if you don't know, again, talking about energetic points, different than the chakras, but similar is when you go off of the central nervous system, you have lots of what they call marma points, or in Chinese medicine, energy points that are on the palms of your hands as well as the base of your feet. So when you connect your palms of your hands with your chakra centers, then you can really kind of send a lot of energy towards yourself and help yourself to heal and to be strong.
Wonderful. Oh, this is so wonderful. And so, DeAnne, there are a couple questions here that are actually similar. So, when we're dealing with people who feel toxic, or trying to protect ourselves from those people, or when we're dealing with clutter, and clutter can feel overwhelming, it can feel stressful, it can feel all the different things, right? Are these, you have the bumblebee exercise you just gave us. Who liked that bumblebee exercise? I loved it. Who felt lighter after doing it? Yes. And it doesn't matter if anybody hears you, right? And you can go around doing bumblebee all day. Are these the exercises that you recommend that we embrace first when we've got those, people that feel toxic, or we've got the stress and overwhelm of the clutter? How do we embrace these so that we serve ourselves the best and we can keep moving forward in life?
So in both situations, the foundation is kind of where we started with, is as best you can becoming fully present in the moment and aware of what's going on in your body. So immediately before anything, like kind of really do a self check-in, like how is this making my gut feel? Like, do I feel like, I want to tense up? Do I feel like a little queasy? Do I feel, I don't know, even nauseous? Do I feel my heart beating faster? Do I feel like tightness in my throat, or I feel like I'm not going to be able to come up with the right words? So I share this because you first have to really become aware of what's going on for you. And each of us are very, very different, and how our bodies instinctually respond to toxic people, or to too much clutter, or just overstimulation of any sort can be very different. So first you just have to really become aware, and then once you're aware, then you can begin to self-regulate and be, I think the big thing is mindful in your response. So when you're dealing with a toxic person, becoming very aware of that, and then maybe how you're triggered, taking a deep breath in and pausing. And I guess with toxic people, you have lots of choices. And I'm not a therapist, so I can't pretend to be a therapist. So what works for one person can be, again, very different. But I do think that in general, when you're dealing with that, checking into that inner guidance system, the pause, a big pause between stimulus and response, and then a mindful choice of response. And the mindful choice could even be like, right now, I need to remove myself from this situation. Where you take it on yourself, so you're not blaming and projecting things outward, but you're taking care of yourself and saying, right now, this is too much for me. I need to remove myself. I'm not feeling, ready to deal with this. I'm sorry. I'll come back, at a later time if it's something important, an important relationship for you. But say, I just need some space. Like, sometimes like with little kids, right? You put them in timeout, right? If they're like misbehaving, you put them in timeout. Well, sometimes I think we need to give ourselves timeout. So say, I need a timeout, like just too much, and say, excuse me, right? And then the other thing can be maybe asking questions. Like, questions to me rather than statements are so much more open and can bring people up from two different places toward the middle, when you just like open-ended curious questions like, you know I wonder, why are you acting this way? Or why do you feel the need to share this with me? But does that, I don't know if that helps at all, but again, open-endedness and questions create space and more flow of energy versus this kind of the clinching. Um,
But
and then
I'm
the
glad that you, oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. And then the other one was like the clutter thing. Again, I think it's all about just, inner wisdom, and maybe saying like, right now I can't deal with this. So that you have the house full of clutter or the closet full of clutter, sometimes you just can't deal with it. Other time, you might also just say, okay, I am going to declutter for, I'm going to give myself 10 minutes to do as much as I can in 10 minutes. Set a timer. Set a timer, say it's too much to tackle the whole thing, but I'm going to give myself 10 minutes and see what I can do in 10 minutes, and then close the closet, right? And then sometimes you might be pleasantly surprised, like, oh my gosh, I was actually able to like get this whole bag that now I can take to Goodwill or Habitat for Humanity. Boy, I feel so good about that. Oh my gosh, decluttering was actually kind of fun. Who knew it could be fun, right? I don't know.
There are a lot of people here that are realizing that decluttering can be empowering, and that it can go from something feeling so heavy to actually feeling really light, and being a part of the day that we look forward to. And so there, you're right, you all. This topic is so big. We could talk for hours and hours and hours on it. And so DeAnne needed to really take a look and kind of give us the high level on these things. The takeaways. What are the biggest takeaways for you all in terms of what you're learning about the chakras? And actually, Lisa, I promise it can be fun. And so we Danny loves the analogy of holding the singing bowl really tightly and then holding it lightly, and that flow that it allows. And so take that analogy with you when you are thinking through what you're going to let go of in your own home and your own environment. Um, the bumblebee, that's a fun one. And the bumblebee, do you think that helps most with the is this which chakra is this? The throat chakra?
Throat chakra. The bumblebee breath really is more about the sixth chakra, the third eye chakra, but it also with the vibration can do some throat chakra as well. And you
Well,
feel it through every cell in your body, really.
yeah, and actually that's really interesting. Do you think you could like high level, if it makes sense, for a few of the chakras, like so you just said the bumblebee chakra is for this one, which see I forget them so quickly.
It's the sixth chakra, the third, they call it the third eye,
The
ajna.
third eye. Okay, so bumblebee is third eye, and then can you tell us just for each one or for a few of them?
Oh, that I can't really because they're too involved. Like if I just said the
Okay.
name, people aren't going to know. They're not going
Okay.
to know. So I mean, so like I'll give you an example. The Ujjayi breath, the ocean breath, is a breath that I teach that's really good for stimulating the third chakra and the fifth chakra, so the power center in the belly. Um, Alternate nostril breathing is a way of kind of balancing the entire body, right to left, and all of the chakras. Um, Full diaphragmatic breathing really stimulates the third chakra into the second chakra. They're very, yeah, and then there are lots of others. Again, because
Yeah.
Ayurveda is such a rich science and system, and there's a lot of it just takes some training, I guess is the best way to put it.
This is that's so helpful. All of it, and just doing the alternate nose breathing is helpful for all of the chakras. I used to not be able to do that because I was always so stuffy because of allergies and eating foods that were clutter in my body. Once
Hmm.
I removed the foods that were clutter in my body, I was able to breathe again.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think I'm sorry, but I'm thinking of the woman who said, "How could I wish decluttering could be fun?" And and for me at least, when I think of decluttering and less things, for me, I equate it with freedom. Like there's just so much more freedom and flexibility you can have when you have less stuff. There's just so much less attachment. Um, and so if you can kind of reframe decluttering into like, I'm creating more freedom and flexibility in my life. I'm creating more space to make choices, not feel so weighted down by things. Again, very first chakra oriented. Um, I don't know, maybe fun isn't the right word, but when you think about what it's going to bring you, what it's going to bring you, and how it's going to improve your life, um, I think if you can like hook yourself into that, that it really and be mindful of your experiences. Again, this is personal, um, but like when I go through my house and I don't have a lot of stuff in my house, I've consciously like downsized, gotten rid of stuff. But even with what I have, when I organize everything and have everything like in its place, and I notice like how I feel initially, when I have maybe a pile of papers, a pile of books, mail I haven't gone through, whatever, and I just notice like, oh, that's making me feel stressed, tense, whatever. And so I start going through it, and then I realize how I feel afterward when everything kind of is in its place and not, and just like, ooh, that, like, this feels really just nice, I don't know, energetically. Eh,
I love what you just said. This feels nice energetically. And there are people that are you all, I love what you're sharing in the chat, by the way. Uh, Glenn shared that Glenn always starts or ends the morning meditation by saying, and so it is. And so it will be because it was always meant to be. Looking at some of these really, there are just some really great mantras and great feedback in the chat. Um, Danny's best friend always says less is more, less is more. We love that you're in this group, Danny. Um, so there's some great takeaways. Yeah, and if you all, yeah, whatever, what was your biggest takeaway from today? Go ahead and share that in the chat if you would like. Um, this session for Glenn has also served to confirm to simply just continue the daily meditation practice when I wake up first thing in the morning to center ourselves. And some of the things you've actually given us a number of tools to center ourselves, to center our energy. Why do we even say clear our energy? We don't want to clear the energy. We want to balance the energy, or what is it that we want? Because I mean, we are anything without our energy. We are energy.
I think we want our energy, again, thinking of chakras, energetic systems. We want flow, right? I mean, we just want that's health. Like every single cell, it's taking in, it's bringing in, letting go, bringing in, letting go, right? And so this balance of ebb and flow, and that's the breath, right? We take in and then we release, and we take in, and so, right, it's
That's the natural
like
flow of
what,
life. Yeah, I
right?
love, yes.
Right, and that's, I'm not a feng shui expert, but that could be something that people want to look into, or maybe Heather, if you haven't already gotten a
If we
feng
have,
shui expert, but they're all about really harmonizing your home in a way with objects and less and whatever, and energetic flow within your home based on what things are there. But the bottom line of feng shui, again, is really less is more is one, and two, is very conscious of what you have and where it is, and overall how it makes you feel. And if it makes you feel good and it makes you feel kind of light and free,
yeah,
that's good. If it makes you
yeah,
feel heavy and down and tight, not so good.
yeah. This has been fantastic. Now there have been actually a couple of requests for different meditations, a meditation combining chakras and clutter, a meditation that would help us love ourselves, maybe going through the chakras and focusing on love. It's not just the heart chakra, right? It's or would a meditation focused on love really focus on the heart chakra and not so much the others?
Is that a question?
Yeah, and yeah, I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, so yeah, I would say yes, it would center on the heart chakra, and um, something that people could look into, or that's commonly done in Buddhist practice, is metta meditation, which meditation, you start with yourself and self-love. And it has to start from there, breathing in, breathing out, and expressing love first towards yourself, and then you start to work out in concentric circles. So then once you start with yourself, then you think of someone you absolutely adore, maybe a child or your spouse or a pet, but something where you just have this unconditional love. So you extend that love to them, and then you work out in circles where then maybe it's relatives who you really are fond of, then maybe it's like neutral people like the post office or somebody at the checkout, and then you keep on going out and out till the challenging parts are like the toxic people or the people who really trigger you, that you're trying to then share that self-love and compassion with them. And anyway, so but it always
Beautiful.
starts with you, and it does start with your heart, and opening your heart. And something I heard yesterday which just really resonated for me was that you can't love anyone else more than you love yourself. And not in a narcissistic way, but really in a compassionate, self-love and self-compassionate way, that it starts with you, right?
Yeah. That is beautiful. And DeAnne, I want to thank you. We've already gone over the top of the
I know.
hour, and but there's been so much feedback and so much just great conversation in the chat. And yes, Insight Timer is a great place for wonderful meditations on so many different topics. And oh, that's wonderful. So Carlotta is saying and really enjoyed the information you shared. Thank you. Lynn is saying thank you. Terry, Sally, Glenn is everybody's sharing a lot of appreciation. And I this is just such a rich topic. There's so many different ways we can explore this and get even more and more out of this. And so, DeAnne, how can people follow you, find you? I have a feeling people want some meditations. I think coming
So
up with some chakra meditate, specific meditations, chakra meditations would be awesome.
I have many ways. I'm going to drop, if it's okay, I'm going to
Yep.
drop a link in the chat. I actually have a course beginning. It's called Beyond Aging Gracefully with my surfers method. Anyway, so it's an online course with a live component where we do it via Zoom and there's customization. But I share this because it's really all based on the chakra system. We go through this system of really moving into your highest potential, your optimal aging, your kind of highest way of being in the world, and it's foundational. The chakras are foundational. Every single module starts with the chakras, food for the chakras, the Bij mantras for the chakras, and then everything that goes along with each chakra in your life balance. So if you're interested, the course actually opens today, and for anyone, the first live session is coming up on Sunday, and for anyone interested, I'll offer just for today that you could take the class, enroll for the price that I'm offering for people to re-enroll. Many people have taken my class in the past, like to do it again. They've gotten so much out of it with a new group of women. It's primarily women. So I'll offer you that price just for today if you'd like. Otherwise, I have a website, www.gauyafit, GAUYAFIT.com, and then I'm on social media. And I have a yoga classes that I offer, 5 yoga classes every week via Zoom. And we, again, work with the chakras. We do meditation. We do breathing techniques. We do a full 8-limbed yoga practice. So I'll drop this link in the chat. And
Okay, that sounds great.
you can always reach out to me. Oh, oh boy. Well, that didn't work
Okay.
very well. I thought I had it, but I don't.
And
Um,
it's Gaia, and your website, if people would like to follow
right.
along, your website is
www.
GaiaFit.com.
Right. I can put that in.
Wonderful. And I will send out the recording in a couple of hours with DeAnne's links. So you've got access to her links to her website and to her program. And I just want to say thank you so much for your participation, for your openness, for your engagement. And you know what might be really cool, DeAnne? Are you open to this? Would you send us out with a little sound vibration?
Sure, sure.
Does that sound good to you all? What do you think if would you like to end this session with just a little love from one of these beautiful bowls? Yeah?
Sure.
Let's just take it
Absolutely.
in together.
So
I think,
I'm gonna choose bowl number 1, which was the one that I believe the majority of people enjoyed. So
yeah.
I invite you just to close your eyes, and we'll end as we began by just dropping our pebble of awareness down into our body, connecting through the sits bones and the base of the spine into the earth, and then visualizing that energy flowing freely upward and then out through the crown of the head, and again connecting us with our highest potential, with God, the divine source, and then just visualizing that energy flowing freely, openly, evenly, connecting us both with earth and spirit, the divine. So I'll just close by wishing you all namaste, which namaste means I honor the place within myself, which is of love and light. And I honor the place within each of you, which is of love and light. And when we are both in that place, we are one. We are together. So namaste.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. DeAnne, thank you so much for this gift today. I know everybody feels more comfortable, more knowledgeable, maybe even more interested in learning more about the chakras and their healing potential. And so,
Thank you,
yeah, the
Heather.
tone. And one more thing, Glenn, thank you. The tone of the bowl is an A2.
Thank you, Glenn. A2. Now I
Glenn
know.
is a musician, so we've got a musician with us. So thank you so much. Okay, you all have a wonderful rest of the day. If you'd like to hear this again, it'll be on your portal in a few hours, or it will be emailed out to you in just a few hours. And DeAnne, what a gift you shared with us today.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Be well, everybody.
Be well. Take care. Bye bye, everybody. Cheers.